Hey folks, how you doing? This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce right here for the Wayne S. Pierce Show. This is a podcast. This is a podcast, not live, as you can tell. It is what it is. How y'all doing today? Oh my God. Let me first make a very, as I move stuff on my desk, sorry about that, as I make a very valid point. Let me point this out to you. Everything on the state-run media, everything that you see on your cable networks, everything that you hear from them and all of their quote-unquote talking points is a lie. Every bit of it, all of it, every single thing that you hear from these morons is a complete and utter lie. They're paid for by several areas, groups that are funded by George Soros. They're getting money from the military-industrial complex. You're listening to this bull crap coming out of your TV, and you think it's true. Adolf Hitler said if you tell a lie enough times, people will believe it's true. Other people tell me that, oh, if it's on the internet, it must be true. I want you to understand one very valuable thing. And it's this. It's this. Unless you go out and do your research, and unless you find out what is true within you, and believe me, you will know it's factual and true, don't believe anything coming out of your cable news networks or your Fox News networks or any number of your local stations, because it's all a lie. It always has been a lie, and it always will be a lie. Okay? Now, somebody would say, well, should I believe you? No. Go out and do your homework. You don't have to believe anything that I say. Well, why should I listen to your show? Because I give you guideposts. I give you tidbits of information that hopefully you take upon yourself to go out and research on your own. If you don't, then I don't know what to tell you. Seriously. I find it incredibly odd that people, actually whine and bitch and moan and groan about, oh my God, you mean I got to get up and actually go do some research on this stuff? Why can't I just find it on the internet? Oh. Go to your reference section of your local library. Go to your, you got to go to this big building in your city called a library. You go to your reference section. And you look stuff up. You ask them. Okay? You ask them for stuff. How about going and asking them, do you have any information regarding the incident in the Gulf of Tonkin? Yeah, that's Tolkin, Tonkin. The Gulf of Tonkin. That got us into the Vietnam War. How about the information pertaining to the impeachment records of President Richard Milhouse Nixon before he resigned? How about the information that led us to get into the Gulf War in 1991? All other than Richard Nixon, which was a setup anyway because somebody had some stuff, some information on him as well. if he didn't resign, not only would he be impeached, and impeachment proceedings were going through the Congress at that time, but they had other information on him that would have pointed out and told the general public just how much he and a group of people were involved in getting President John F. Kennedy assassinated. And they did the same thing to Gerald R. Ford, who was vice president at that time, who became president at that time. They had information on him because he was part of the Warren Commission investigating the assassination of John F. Kennedy. Excuse me. I ate lunch and a lot of it sticking around. Anyway. So how do we go about finding the information? It's real simple. Open your damn eyes. Okay? There was a short story written by Ray Bradbury, if I can speak correctly. Ray Bradbury wrote a short story called The Pedestrian, which was kind of a springboard for him to write Fahrenheit 451. And in that story, it talks about people in their apartments, people that can't go outside. If you're outside, you get arrested. If you do anything outside of what the system wants, you get arrested. If you, and that pretty much is an allegory of today, because if you do anything that's outside of the norm or outside of the system, you get arrested, you get punched, you get killed, you get shot by corrupt cops. I mean, anything that would throw a monkey wrench, figuratively speaking, into your way of doing things. You're an artist, you're an actor, you're a researcher, you're whatever it is. You cannot think outside of the box, and that is why they have this disastrous curriculum called Common Core. It dumbs you down even more to where you're compliant, and you are a biological android. Whatever it is they say for you to do, you must do. It's all for your good. No, it's not. No, it's not. Okay? Everything that the system wants you to do is suppressing you, taking away your rights, pulling everything away from you that helps you learn correctly, factually, accurately, gives you the opportunity to be resourceful, innovative, creative. All of that is being pulled away, and you people are sitting there worried about your stupid football games. By the way, George Orwell wrote about the same thing in 1948, naming his book under, some advisement from other people, 1984. Now, either go read that book and learn about, what's going on around you, or your next step will be wiping your feet off on the welcome mat at a FEMA camp near you. Now, let me point out something else as well. I don't complain, I shouldn't say complain, that's not the right word. I don't bash other people. Well, you bash the president because he's a criminal. Well, you bash the regime, the system, and the system's okay. Because it's a system of fascism, and people just don't get it. well, President Obama made a promise and he kept it. He gave us, Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, which doubled, tripled, quadrupled a lot of your premiums and put out of business all these private companies that now are slowly, even now, going out of business because your company you work for had to cancel, or those, companies that work with you, the place you work for, have canceled your coverage, and now you're on the Affordable Care Act, tripling your premiums. Some families are paying out almost $3,000 a month to cover everybody in their family. This is ridiculous. So here we are. Let me point this out to you, and my point is this. Open your damn eyes. See what's going on. Oh, yeah, I see what's going on. No, you don't, because you're a complete idiot. Well, I don't agree with you. I see things the way I do, and that's just the way it is. Did the door hit you in the head when you tried to open it? Did you trip over something in your living room and fall on your face? What's going on with you? I mean, when I hear people say, well, I see things my way, so that's just the way it is. I don't know how many times a day I hear people say stupid things like that, and I facepalm. I put my head in my hand and just shake my head. Last year, at the end of last year, I mentioned the fact that 2014, I wasn't going to hold anything back, and I'm not going to. You people are stupid. That's just the way it is. You don't want to see anything the way that it truly is. I'm trying to point it out to you. And as I said before, I'm done with stupid people. And I keep thinking to myself, if I keep pointing it out and keep showing them who's behind the curtains, pulling the handles and pushing the buttons, they might get it one day. Well, I'm not going to stop pointing it out to you. And if you don't want to listen, that is completely up to you. And if you want to ignore it, that's completely up to you. And if you want to see things your way, that's completely up to you. You're wrong, and I can prove it. But if you want to continue on, believing that everything's just fine and dandy and, it's all unicorns and roses and Skittles falling from the sky and the unicorn pooping multicolored rainbows, you go right ahead and do that, all right? There's nothing I would rather see than hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people finally get the clue. Oh, wait, they have, but you haven't. And I'm talking to those small percentage of people who are on the far left liberal side who say nothing, who tell me right to my face sometimes, nothing's wrong, everything's fine. Okay, you keep going and being the biological robot that they want you to be because, well, you seem to think that everything's just fine. You just continue to go, that way. Just, there you go. Yeah. I'm talking to you folks on the far left liberal side, and all of you need to be in a loony bin somewhere, or probably 98% of you need to be arrested and charged with treason against the United States of America because of the way you stand. Okay? There is going to be a revolution in this country that will make the revolution of 1861, the Civil War of 1861, and the War of Independence of 1776 look like a freaking birthday party in a park. It's going to make your head spin. It's going to make you stand there and shaking your damn boots because you far left liberal loony people don't know what you're doing. You never have, and you never will. I don't even care if and I've heard I wouldn't say hundreds, let me be more realistic. I've heard dozens of people tell me, oh, I'm liberal, but I'm more in the middle. Are you half an idiot? Well, I'm not saying go to the far right either, because here's my message to the far right loony bin owners. Yeah, because you own the loony bins and the far left liberal loons are living in it, okay? And they're taking over because you people are freaking loony. Do you understand me? So even the far right radical wing of the Republican Party and the far left liberal wing of the Democratic Party are nothing more than dictatorial, fascist, communistic, dictatorial morons that have absolutely no idea what they're doing. And they never will. Because here's something. To you far right and to you far left. By the way, I know all of the parties involved are paid off by one particular group or little minions of the one particular group. So there are no political parties in the United States of America. Okay? There isn't. The parties are bogus. All of them. Every one of them. They're all bogus. Oh, I'm not calling for a single party in America. I'm calling for we the people to stand up and throw these jackasses in Washington, D.C. in prison where they belong, charging them with crimes against humanity and against the Constitution of the United States of America. But let's do it this way. Let's do it peacefully, shall we? If you know your Constitution, you know the laws. If you know the laws, you know how viable this is. It can be done. A great philosopher, one of the great philosophers of the 20th century, said something that will stick with me for the rest of my life. And he said, something can be done about it. Whatever it is you want to do, you can do. I mean, literally. That's what I got from that statement. But if we don't get up off our ass and stop thinking about, oh, who's going to win the football game? Who's going to win American Idol? Who's going to win Dancing with the Stars? If we don't stop right now and think about what's going on, the only thing that I can say is, bye. Have a nice day. War is peace. Freedom is slavery. Ignorance is strength. That is from 1984 by George Orwell. Do you really want to know what's going on? Come listen to The Views Express, Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, only on the Liberty and Freedom Network.
Samo Radio, playing music for free so you can listen longer. Samo.
It's the 5 o'clock drive with Samo.
Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. till 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
What's on your mind? Chances are it's on their mind too. Check out Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show. Friday evenings at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern. Only on Spreaker.com. Hey folks, welcome back. This is the Wayne S. Pierce Show podcast. I'm usually on live Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 12 noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, right here on the Free America Radio Network. You can help out Free America Radio Network if you wish. I know I complained for the first segment, but it really gets my goat. It just tears me apart. It pisses me off that people cannot see what's going on. So, enough. So if you want to help out the Free America Radio Network, you can go to freeamericaradio.us, freeamericaradio.us, and you can donate to the network, you can sponsor the network, or you can go to the store and buy some merchandise and promote your patriotism that way. Free America Radio Network is going to the next level. It's taking some time, design, development, that kind of thing, So if you want to be a part of that, please help out as much as you possibly can, if you can. Okay? If you're not able to, no big deal. But I'm just saying, if you like the show, help out if you can. So, here we are in the United States of America, the greatest country in the world, according to some. And according to the masses, over 75% of the American people who now know what's going on in the United States are now saying enough's enough. We still believe that that the United States is the greatest country in the world. The only problem is that we have a government, a leaders, quote unquote, I use that term loosely, in Washington, D.C., that basically are bought and paid for, sliced and diced and julienned and placed onto the plate of humanity in such a way presented to us as credible, viable, and understandable leaders. And guess what? That is bull. None of these leaders know what the hell they're doing. They never have. They never will. They speak a good game. They talk a good game. They walk around with their heads held high, thinking, yes, I can make a difference. When all they're doing is getting insider trading deals from the New York Stock Exchange, getting billions of dollars from other countries for campaign contributions. In other words, they're being bribed from Wall Street. And, that's just the way it is. But people don't want to see it that way. I've seen more people leave, and there's a statistic, go look it up. There's a chart that shows that people are leaving the Democratic and Republican parties and going to the independent or libertarian parties, or party affiliates, because they don't like the two-party system anymore. I am not a proponent, nor do I support a one-party system in the United States. I support a constitutional republic. That is what this country is. And I support people who support that. I support a constitutional convention to bring the Constitution back to the forefront of the United States of America. And I am for arresting each and every single one of those politicians in Washington, D.C. and throwing them in jail. At least, if not all of them, a vast majority of the 535 of them that are up there, including their aides. That would mean Eric Holder. That would mean Hillary Clinton. That would mean John Kerry. That would mean the president and vice president, the Speaker of the House, Boehner, all these folks, especially Dianne Feinstein and Barbara Boxer, who are gun control advocates. By the way, Dianne Feinstein is a really good shot. Her husband makes billions of dollars, and she carries, but she also has bodyguards, and she wants your guns, folks. Her and Barbara Boxer, both. And all the far-left liberal loons that don't like guns. Well, guess what? We the people will keep our guns. And we'll make damn sure you don't get them. So, what's the tale of... what is the tantalizing tale of twisted truth that the far left liberal state-run media is telling you. They're telling you that guns are bad, guns are this, guns are that, blah, blah, blah. And then you get people in California like this, whoever, assemblyman or something, that has absolutely no idea what guns are all about, or even can tell you anything statistically about how crime has dropped over the last 20 years, the FBI's own numbers, when people arm themselves. When law-abiding citizens arm themselves, crime in those areas drop. The FBI's own numbers, go look them up. Okay? So, we have the far-left liberals, even the ones that say they're in the middle, that look at me and say, no offense, but I didn't mean you, but I don't mean you by this statement, and they make their statement, and guess what? It's the most idiotic thing I have ever heard. If somebody looks at you and says, I don't mean you by this, yes, they mean you by this. But you're my friend. You meant me. Because here's why. Because I know the psychology behind these far-left liberal loons. I know the psychology behind people's statements, because I've studied psychology and I've studied, all this stuff, how words are used to, I took marketing and advertising. Okay, so I also know that part of it. So there's a huge psychological operations going on. So anybody that tells me that they don't mean me, or I don't mean you by this statement, and then they make their statement, no, they meant me. And here's why. It's real simple. They want you to agree with them and back down from your statements so that they themselves can see themselves as the victor in their propaganda. It's the bottom line. I won't put up with it. So bring on all your propaganda bullcrap, because I can see right through it. And don't sit there and lie to me and say, well, I'm going to make a statement, but I don't mean you by this. Yes, you do. Don't take it personally. That was the other thing I heard several years ago when I started telling people what was going on around our country. And people are going, after they hear me, they look at me going, well, don't take this personally, but yes, you're going to open your mouth, you're going to talk to me, I'm going to take it personally. And I've even gone this far and I've said this, that if you don't like what I say, unfriend me from Facebook, unfollow me from Spreaker, do all that. Because if you don't like the truth, it's obvious to me that you can't handle it, nor can you handle the accurate, factual information that I present. And if I don't have it on me, I tell you where to go, like the FBI's own numbers on gun control, or, the National Labor Board's, the Labor Relations Board, or the labor statistics proving that because of the Affordable Care Act, layoffs have increased. Why do you think we have 92 million people unemployed? That's almost a third of the population of the United States. Go look up the numbers. Well, some of this stuff you talk about, I went to Snopes.com and found it to be untrue. Snopes.com has been snoped. They are nothing more than a disinformation site to pull you into their little delusion and to make you get all excited, and that's what they do. They're a worthless piece of garbage. Okay? Much like Wikipedia, not end all, say all, end all of everything that is factual. You have to understand that there is only two ways of looking at this. When I say only, and then there's two ways, of course. There's two ways of looking at this. One, you can say, yeah, everything's fine, everything's okay, we're not going to, everything. You can look at it that way and be positive, but all your positiveness and all your, well, we have to think happy thoughts and things change, to a certain degree that is true, but not 100%. The other way you can look at this is in the very basic understanding of what is actually going on. Let me sum it up in one word. Realistically. Fanciful, positive thoughts. Yeah, everything's fine. If we just change the way we think, things will change, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. What kind of bullcrap have you been learning over the years? I've studied and read Buddha, Taoist teachings, teachings that were recommended to me by martial artists. I've looked at a lot of stuff, and believe me, if I put out positive thoughts, it's not going to change the way that people tax me from the government to get all my money. Okay? It's not going to change the way that Washington, D.C. does anything. Okay? Oh, I'm sure back in the Revolutionary War of 1776, the War of Independence, and also the Civil War of 1861. Oh, I'm sure there were people back there saying the same thing. If we just think positive and pray for God's intervention. I've heard that I don't know how many times. Folks, the bottom line is this. Get up off your ass and go do something. Not physically, assertively, or aggressively. Just go out and be positive in holding a sign and protest in a with civil disobedience. Don't act aggressively to anybody asking you questions, or even if the police show up and ask you what you're doing. Just say, I'm invoking my First Amendment rights of freedom of expression. And just go from there. And if they say, and some of them, I've heard it, read in some reports and heard some of them on some videos that I've seen. Do you have a permit? My permit is the First Amendment of the Bill of Rights of the Constitution of the United States of America. Oh, and by the way, folks, do it legally. Okay? I say that because here in where I'm broadcasting from in Reno, Nevada, there's a little suburb. I call it a suburb. It really isn't. It's Sparks, Nevada, as well as Reno. There's signs up on light poles in certain areas that say free speech zones. Okay? The last I checked, folks, the First Amendment covers free speech in all areas of the United States of America, not just these little pockets. But to be on the safe side, to not ruffle too many law enforcement feathers, be at peace with your surroundings. Just go out and defy, under the principles of civil disobedience, those free speech zones and say, I have a constitutional right to be here under the First Amendment, period. Don't get angry. Just peacefully and just help them understand that you have that First Amendment right. Yeah, but I don't want to do that because I'm afraid of getting arrested and thrown in jail and losing my job. Pansy-ass, whiny little bitch. Yes, I said it. And I'll say it again if I want to. But the fact of the matter is everybody I talk to has one or two views of what is going on. Others don't care. And the one view that I've heard far beyond anything else is that, well, we shouldn't, stir things up too much. I've heard that. We shouldn't do this, but if we do this, then we'll do that. I've heard that. How is anything going to change if you don't get up and go do something? How is anything going to change in your area if you don't get up and get on your feet and go out and protest what's happening? Well, with the word, here's the other fear that people have, is that they're afraid that they're afraid that the police will come and beat the crap out of them. And there's a little something called a lawsuit. And when you get taken to court, you can say whatever it is under the law that you can say. And you can file charges against that cop. 2 of them, I know, I saw it. 2 cops that killed someone were acquitted. Well, I saw another report just recently where another cop was fired from the police force for killing somebody while on duty. And the 2 others, I think 2 or 3 other cops that were with him were suspended. Folks, I wanted to share some news with you, and I wanted to tell you that it's important basically for you to get up, to do something. And I'm telling you about the fears that people have, and I'm telling you about certain things that certain people are going to say, and it's all part of the psychological operations, and it's all part of how they grew up in their environment and what they were taught, which was totally bogus, and all this, and telling you about the media and how the state-run media lies to you, and all. That's what I'm telling you in the last 40 minutes of this show. And I wanted to share with you some news. But I really want to give you some information. As a matter of fact, if you hear it like skipping or something, that's because I'm using another browser as well. So, I want people to understand. Actually, I encourage people to understand what's going on, how it's happening, what the basics of this life are, how things are changing and all your rights are being taken away. I encourage you to look at that. You look at naturalnews.com. Scientist exposes flu shots lie and doom and gloom media propaganda. Also from Herman Cain, the former presidential candidate. Watch this California anti-gun state senator show just how little he knows about guns. We know the secrets of the Federal Reserve has a meme, a picture, and it says all over the world people are standing up to their government while the media talks about celebrity BS. Okay. Breaking news, Purdue University officials report a shooting in an electrical engineering building in West Lafayette, Indiana campus. It is yet unknown if anyone has been injured. An alert from the school asked students and faculty to shelter in place while police search the scene. One suspect has been taken into custody, according to the school. So there's more shootings. In the last 3 days, or I would even say a week, there have been 3 shootings at schools. This is going to give the far left liberal state-run media something to run with and say that the government has to ban all guns. Try it. You're not going to get away with it. From theblaze.com, New York officials move to seize World War II vets' property. And from Infowars.com, is FEMA preparing for a pandemic? Federal agency seeks 40-yard dumpsters for biomedical waste disposal during emergencies. You've already seen you can go to some of the government's own websites that where they show the purchase orders of all of the quote-unquote FEMA coffins that have been purchased by the Department of Homeland Security and FEMA. Also, the Blaze reports Sean Hannity's major announcement after New York Governor Cuomo's controversial remarks. Sean Hannity is moving out of New York now because Governor Cuomo and New York City Mayor, what is that, de Blasio, are now taking over the whole state, and it is now fallen to the New World Order. So is California. Fallen to the New World Order. We have both coasts that are tied up now and fully entrenched into the New World Order, Agenda 21 Sustainable Development policies, and they are going to, soon, I would say by the middle of, or I should say it like it is, by the midterm elections, if not shortly thereafter, we will no longer have a New York state or a California state. Also, 2 constitutions in the United States. One was suspended in favor of a Vatican corporation. That is what we're currently under right now as of 1871. I told you about it, and there it is. And it's from 4winds, the number 10.net. It's on, all this I'm telling you is on Free America Radio on Facebook. Go check it out. Click the links and learn about it. And, there's just so much more to be, there's so much more to learn. There's just so much more to learn. And if you can't learn it, if you cannot stand to even get out of your little delusional cookie cutter world, I don't know what to tell you.
Did you know that the first Matrix was designed to be a perfect human world where none suffered, where everyone would be happy? And it was a disaster. No one would accept the program. Entire crops were lost. Some believed that we lacked the programming language to describe your perfect world, but I believe that as a species, human beings define their reality through misery and suffering. So the perfect world was a dream that your primitive cerebrum kept trying to wake up from, which is why the Matrix was redesigned to this, the peak of your civilization.
What is reality? The foundation of reality is based on many concepts. Each person perceives reality differently. In the book, The Grid by Marie D. Jones and Larry Flaxman, they explore the hidden infrastructure of reality. Get your copy today at Barnes & Noble and Amazon.com. The Grid by Marie D. Jones and Larry Flaxman. Sharing the truth, one fact at a time. Defending liberty and freedom. Fighting the New World Order. This is the Free America Radio Network. Hey folks, welcome back. Come join me on the Views Express live at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern right here on Spreaker.com and also on freeamericaradio.us. Yes, if you want to email me, I'll give you an email address. You can still use the old one. You can use the one, I shouldn't say old. You can still use the one that's there on the Spreaker site, freeamericaradio@usa.com. That's freeamericaradio@usa.com. Or, if you want to send me information and you don't want anyone else like the NSA to see it, send it to freeamericaradio@unseen.is. freeamericaradio@unseen.is. I don't know what else to tell you, folks. I really don't. Sometimes I get to the end of my wits and I'm just, I just really cannot and will not, put up with anybody else's bullcrap, to be honest with you. I just won't. I just won't. I feel that it's best for me to tell you what is going on because of how things are. Okay? I believe it's my duty to do so because of how humanity is being manipulated. Okay? I understand how all of this works because I've done my research. I just encourage you to go do the research on your own. I hope I encourage you. If I don't, you're sitting there going, you're one of those conspiracy theorists. Oh, by the way, newsflash. Everything you've heard from a conspiracy theorist, no matter who it was, are right. Everything is right. Everything that we have told you has proven to be correct. But you never wanted to see it. Again, I'm talking to you far-left liberal loons that think that everything's just fine, or the ones that are in the middle that say, well, just because it's on the internet, must be it's true. You know, I get so frustrated with people, sometimes I just can't talk, form my words correctly. No, not everything on the internet is true, and we know this. You know why? Because I can look at one piece of information and then go track everything that it talks about and find out where it came from and find out how much misinformation is in there and find out what's really being said. I don't know what else to say, folks. I've done everything that I've done to bring you the information so that I hope I bring you enough information to where it, encourages you to go out and challenges you to go out and take a look at this stuff. And please let me know because, I want to know. I'm curious. Seriously, I'm curious. Free America Radio at unseen.is. Free America Radio at unseen.is. You can still use the email address there on the Spreaker site as well. A lot of people may look at me and say, well, you don't have all the information. Folks, I've been researching this stuff since I was in high school. Okay? I was a junior or senior in high school at the time. And I can tell you right now, I've been researching this stuff ever since not only was Carter president of the United States, but Reagan as well. And no, he wasn't the greatest president in the world. As a matter of fact, they all, from the time of Kennedy, when I believe it was Eisenhower's exit speech, I believe that from that point on, every single president after November 22nd, 1963, has been nothing but puppets because there was a push at that time. Now, I'm not saying, they were saints and everything was hunky-dory prior to that, but what I'm saying is that there was a push from the elites of that time to bring in more people that would do what they wanted done. And like I said at the beginning of the program, I don't think too many people remember or could even research enough of the facts to know that Richard Nixon was part of a group that was talked about in regards to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. And I don't think a lot of people remember that there was a future president on the Warren Commission named Gerald R. Ford. Okay, Nixon and Ford were president and vice president, respectively. Ford became president after Richard Nixon resigned because of the Watergate debacle. Okay? Now, if people cannot understand that simple fact, well, how about in 1964, I believe it was 1964, the incident at the Gulf of Tonkin that got us into the Vietnam War. Go look that up. I mean, there's so many things that people need to look up that I am amazed, just simply amazed that people cannot, see the truth in all of this. I mean, it's all facts. It's all right out there. And the tagline for this show and the views expressed is sharing the truth one fact at a time, and that's what I'm doing. I'm sharing with you the facts. I just hope that you go out and look it up yourself, but you'll find the truth staring you in the face. Okay? I know a lot of people around here in Reno, Nevada would look at me and say, well, you're one of those, and they get all upset at the fact that I'm pointing something out to them, and they're sitting there going, that's not true. Really? How about vaccines? The major media, what was it? I just read that little headline to you from naturalnews.com. I don't know, folks. I don't know. I mean, here you are, you're intelligent people, but when it comes to somebody pulling you out of your little tiny itty bitty comfort zone that you've, built for yourself and deluded yourself into thinking was just perfect, when people start pulling away all of that stuff and showing you the truth with the facts, you go freaking ballistic saying, no, I don't want to see it. I don't want my day ruined. I want to have positive things happen to me. Folks, I'm telling you now, you're never going to have positive things happen to you if you don't get out and start fighting for your civil liberties and your rights and everything else. It's not going to happen. The militarized police, the militarized law enforcement that comes to your door that wants to haul you away to a FEMA camp for your safety is not going to look at you and say, oh, you're one of those people, so we'll leave you alone. No. I also want to say this. If you happen to hear this if you listen to this podcast on Spreaker.com, please leave a comment in the comment section below. Please. I want to know what's on your mind. Whether you disagree with me or not, I want to know what's on your mind. If you listen to this on Spreaker.com, please put something in the comment. I want to hear from you. If you listen to this on the website at Free America Radio, that one too, freeamericaradio.us. But if you listen to this program on thewaynespearshow.weebly.com, thewaynespearshow.weebly.com, then send me some email. Let me know what you think. I'd really appreciate your input in all of this. Okay? The facts are the facts, people. You cannot avoid them. You can misplace them. You can put them off to the side and not want to look at them like you normally do every single day, and concentrate on who's winning Dancing with the Stars or American Idol or your damn football game or anything of that nature. You can do that, yeah, but it's not. I always like to tell people this. Just because you close your eyes doesn't mean the bad things are going to go away. Oh, I know, and some of my Christian friends are going to say, well, when King Herod came after the Israelites and blah, 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 and they put, blood up on the door and whatever, they avoided those places. Yeah, okay, Christians, listen up. I just heard from Tex Mars. Tex Mars. Go look him up. Tex Mars. I was listening to him on the Pete Santilli show, and guess what he said? The Israelites are not true blood Jews. Go look it up. It's not me saying this. It's Tex Mars. Go look him up. Go listen to the Pete Santilli show. It's here on Spreaker.com as well. Go look it up. The Pete Santilli show. Tex Mars was on there. He said in 1947, most of the people that came to Israel were and he's done. He's talked to the person that did the genealogy of the Jews in, or what is called Jews in Israel. And guess what? They're mostly Russian. They're mostly from a country that no longer exists over 3,500 years ago. All right? He says with his research and the research of many others that he worked with as well, he says that the Palestinians are more in line with what that whole thing is over in the Middle East. Don't believe me, folks. Go look up Tex Mars. Tex Mars. You can also hear his words on the Pete Santilli show. As a matter of fact, I'll find that particular episode and upload it to here if you don't get it. I'll even embed it on my website, thewaynespearshow.weebly.com, and I will put it up there and let you listen to it. Or not let you. You can listen to it at that point. Okay? Everything we have been taught has been a tremendous lie. And we have to break down and actually go do the research to dig through all of this stuff and to put 2, 3, 4, 5 different views together and say, okay, what's right and what's not? What do we feel in ourselves is correct and accurate and factual? Let's look at that. So if it takes us a month, a year, 10 years, whatever, we're going to find it. I've been doing this for over 35 years, folks. I don't want to hear it anymore. You're wrong, and most of the stuff that I found is correct. Now, I'm not always right, and that's okay, because I may have overlooked something. I know I get excited, but hey, when somebody's taking away your rights and your liberties and trying to throw you into a camp and make you do what they want, well, that doesn't fly with me, because I'll tell you what, no one has a right to tell me what to do. And I will fight tooth and nail. Now, if somebody pays me every 2 weeks, that's a totally different story. Yes, boss, what do you need? You know, because I'm getting paid. Hello, not with this job. I do this for zip zilch nada. I ain't getting nothing for this. Why are you asking for sponsors? Because the bandwidth on the website. Because of everything that I got to put up on the website. And because Free America Radio is going to the next level and we need your help. So go to freeamericaradio.us. Go to the sponsors page and see how you can help out. Those rates on the sponsors page are there until, and they're good until January 31st. After that, that page is coming down and I'm going to remodel it. So get in before the end of January and you can help Free America Radio Network get to the next level. So anyway, how do you see things? Let me know. I want to know how you see things. You can use the email address right there on the website or on Spreaker.com. You can also send email to freeamericaradio@unseen.is. That's freeamericaradio@unseen.is. I don't know what else to tell you, folks. I'm sometimes at a loss for words. Yes, me, speechless. Oh my God, mark that on the calendar. In the meantime, folks, come join me on the Views Express Live, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on Spreaker.com or on freeamericaradio.us. Talk to you later.